I'll be cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not likely.
Alright, welcome back. Change the heater core with that heater box under the dash. So we got the radio out, we got the glove box out to make it easier to view everything, see what we got to do to get that out. I know it's a pain in the rear on these second gen Camaros. I know I got to take out the fender well, passenger side inner fender well to get to some of the bolts, and we're doing the blower motor as well. But before, I'll take you over there, before I jack the car up and take the wheel off and do the fender well, I want to make sure we got everything we can while the car's on the ground, where it's easier to get to some of the stuff, such as some of these bolts. I don't want to have it jacked up in the air and then have to climb up. Alright, we got that bolt right there. We're going to have to take off our nut, rather. That's a stud sticking through. So it's a 7/16 stud or nut we'll be removing, and right below this one, about 3.5, 4 inches below it, is another one. I don't know if you'll be able to see that one due to how it's laid out here, but I don't think I'll be able to show you that at this moment. But trust, 3-4 inches below that one, there's another one. Then there's another one, but it's underneath the fender well, behind the fender well. Okay, I wanted to bring y'all back in, show you what I got going on, and something that might make your life a little easier if you're doing a heater core for a second gen Camaro or Firebird, Trans Am, or even if you're just trying to remove this box here. These bolts are easy, you can see them, get them out. But there's a couple bolts that are hidden in the back. It's hard to see because you got like this canister ball here, a vacuum ball is what I call it, but basically this is mounted here, so it's kind of hard to see, and you got vacuum lines running to it. But if you remove that, there's two bolts that hold it on with the brackets here, and they are 7/16. If you remove those two bolts, you can remove that canister or that vacuum ball under your vacuum lines, get everything out of your way, and then you can have access to that bolt much easier. It's also a bracket right here. It's held on by two 5/16. So I'm going to remove this bracket, and that will allow super easy access to that bolt. And I may be able to get that other bolt from up here. I've seen people that use they had to use a socket with like 3 extensions on it and route through underneath the headers or next to the exhaust and use swivels to try to get it up and manipulate it onto there, and they said it's a pain in the world. So I'm going to try a little different, do something a little different here. Remove that bracket, your life will become easier, and you can now access this bolt super easy to remove the heater box. Or if you wanted to remove this AC box out here under the hood, you have to remove that bolt anyway. So it works for both scenarios. If you want to leave this box out here, then you can leave it, but you still have to remove this for the heater core to get the heater box out from under the dash. And 4 inches underneath this one, directly underneath it, is another one. And that one's a pain. That one's the one that everybody struggles with. What I'm going to do is take my Sawzall and I'm going to rip this dog leg off. This dog ear here, basically there's nothing behind it. There's nothing attached to it except for that bracket for that vacuum ball, vacuum canister ball, whatever you want to call it. But you can mount that anywhere. I can mount it up here. This is another little dog leg with nothing to it, but there's a couple holes there. I can mount the vacuum canister there, this thing here, if you even want to keep it, You can mount it up here, you can mount it on the firewall. There's lots of choices you could do with this. So, to make my life easy, I'm going to take a Sawzall, cut this little dog leg off, and that'll give me access to this, not this bolt, but the bolt underneath it, right around there. That's very difficult to get to. But if you cut that off, super easy to get to. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, bringing you back. It took me 30 seconds to cut that little dog leg off right here. Goes here. Took a Sawzall, snipped it off. Voila, access to that other bolt right there. There's the top bolt. And there's the other one that you have to take off. So you got studs coming through from behind the dash. There's a heater box. And these studs pop through here, and that's how the heater box is mounted. So you have to take these two off. The other bolt will be underneath the fender well. We have to take that off and remove it. We'll show you. But you want easy access to that bolt down there, instead of getting 14 extensions and a bunch of wobbles and universal swivels and stuff, trying to get a socket to fit on there, because you can't get it from underneath. You got exhaust in the way, starters in the way, and there's just no way you can get your finger or hand up in there to get a wrench or a socket on there. Okay, now with the inner fender well removed, we have clear access to everything we need here. Blower motor, the plug-ins, and here is the other stud that's coming through from the heater core under the dash. We removed the two on the other side of the AC box. This was the next one. Now I would use my battery operated tool, but the battery's dead on it, charging it right now, and I ain't gonna wait. There we go. And you got easy access to everything. Like if you was gonna remove your air conditioner box, bolt here, bolt here, bolt here, one bolt on top, couple more on the top in the engine compartment, and we could remove that. So now I'm gonna go on the inside and see what we got going on there. I gotta set up a light in there, rearrange a few things, and then we'll bring you under the dash. Alright, now we're under the dash. Next thing we're going to remove is this little vacuum canister. Go ahead and remove it. And we got a spring on it as well. Right there, it's got a hook on it. Gotta take some needle nose, remove that. Alright, now I'll see about breaking this free. Twist it a little bit. Oh, that's actually hooked around, so it's got a clip on it. Two over here I need to remove on this bottom corner. Like a stud, so I may have to check that out from the outside. That's kind of interesting. It's not a regular bolt, it's just like a stud going through. So we're gonna let this hang for now, but okay, that side's all loose. It's like I got one more on this side. There's a bolt up there, however it looks like it's completely out. Yeah, the bolt was just sitting there. So on this heater box there is a bolt on the top, right above, right on the top side. But this one was already pretty much out, just sitting in the hole. Nothing on the side. And the bottom one was already out. So I just got this one stud over here. I'm gonna check in there and see what I can see inside. Alright, so we're under the driver's side, looking at the gas pedal, brake pedal, and you'll notice there's a little wire loom here that you have to remove because it's holding all your wires going across the front of your heater box. So you got to move all these wires out of your way. There's a little nut holding the wire loom on. It's like I believe it's 5/16. Alright, so we got that 5/16 nut loose, and now we can move some of these wires. There's the wire loom right there, and it just mounts on the corner of the box. You also got a vacuum line that connects to this vacuum canister like that, and it just kind of hooks on there. You got to remove that, and then there's a little clip looks like this, kind of locks in there, locks that onto there. So remove that vacuum, remove these lines, get them out of your way. So you got a little space here. I got one more here. That's the air control line that runs across, and it's hooked onto the top of the heater box. But that should free up this side of it, the heater box. Now there is a vent up here. It was already disconnected. Oh, there is a bracket right here that mounts to the heater box. I've already removed that bolt, so it's loose. Looks like this side's all loose on the driver's side. I just got to go over to the passenger side, figure out there's one bolt somewhere, I believe. Let me get oriented here. I also got to remove this. I got to order some new ones. But the heater box is very close, coming out. You got one more little bolt or stud or something I gotta check out. Now I do have something on that far side that's got a ground strap on it, but it ain't a bolt. It's just like a flat piece of, it looks like a stud with just a flat end on it. So I'm gonna check that out, investigate, and I'll let you know what I find. Alright, after removing our beading on this stud here, it's actually a ground wire. It's that one stud I was showing you. After beating on that for a while, we got it to break free. Take the heater hose off, and we got it this far. Take a picture or two of all this so you can put it all back just like you found it. You're gonna want to make note of your vacuum lines and where they're attached, because you're gonna have to undo all that. and put everything back like it was. This one's ran there, so that hook's there. Vacuum runs all the way over to here. But you're going to be disconnecting this. This is your cable, your control cable for your fan switches, and you're going to want that exactly like you found it. But you're going to be, it's attached right here with a little loop. You're going to want to take that off. You're going to pull this out eventually, but you're going to unbolt it here as well. And then you got a little, it's not really a nut, but it's a little thing you got to twist off. Then you'll be able to pull this cable off with a stud. But make a notation of everything, take a picture, whatever you got to do. Yeah, a little 8mm. And that'll free that bracket up there. We can actually reroute this a little here. Vacuum lines that tease off. And this one runs over to this little vacuum canister that's attached to the side of your kick panel. Let me find this bolt belt. I don't want to lose it. There we go. And now that frees up the vacuum line from there. Let's see if it's gonna, yeah, now we're free. Oh, and it came undone. Right here, under all this hair, nasty junk. I have to clean this up good. Oh, okay, this line, another vacuum line, loops back around and hooks up to, I'll just show you when we're out of the car, but it hooks under there, but it's all dry rotted. So it just snapped in two when I took that vacuum line off. We're gonna have to redo all that. Now if we can disconnect it from this bracket. We're gonna loosen that. We can slide this off. It's mounted like on that little tab right there. All right, stay with me. It just slides in this little channel clip. So now the only thing we got to do is disconnect it from here. To do that, you got to twist that. Let's see if I can do it with these. That's a pretty sharp edge, but we'll get some pliers or something. We twist that off. There we go. I'll show you that. It's just a little, basically like a washer, but it locks on. So you just pull up on that or twist it, whatever you got to do. Don't lose it. Then you can remove your cable. Should just slide right up. There's your cable. Just slides right under there with that circle, right onto that stud. So now our cable is loose. This is your main control cable. We can set that to the side, that it is no longer attached. And this wire is just ran across. It's not attached either. So I'm going to look on the other end, make sure there's no other cables attached, but that should be it. Then I can pull this out We can pull that out, start cleaning it. I'm just going to verify there's no cables over this other end that's attached anywhere. I already disconnected the one vacuum line that goes to this canister on this side. So, move some of these tools. So now I'm going to move this out of the way. Move the vacuum lines out of the way. I'm going to organize some of these bolt screws. Make sure I got them put up where I can't lose them. And then we'll get to pulling this out and checking it out. Alright, finally. What a pain. We got her out. That's the leftover mess. Pulling it out. All the cables, we're going to organize them and get them, check them out, make sure they're all in good shape. But there she is in all its glory. What a royal pain. Get one of them out. That's the heater box for 2nd gen. We're gonna go through it, clean it up, make sure everything's functioning, and our heater core's underneath this. So we'll have to take off this cover, make sure our flaps. There's the inside of the heater core. You can definitely see where it was leaking. But we'll check it out, clean it up, get it ready. And I had forgotten one vacuum line here. So it was fighting me as I was trying to swindle this out from under the dash. And if I could have continued on with removing this lower dash piece, that would have made my life a little easier. But I kind of stopped doing that, thinking, well, I probably don't need to. But this lower dash where it connects, there's some bolts that attach here. I managed to take a couple out, which I'm going to have to put back in. But I never did finish taking it out over on that side to remove this. And there's a brace that runs along here too that I would have had to remove. But I got it out without doing the lower dash, so you don't have to take your dash out at all. It is kind of a headache, but you can get it done without it. But that's it. We're making a mess. But in order to do this and do it right, you got to. I'll be ordering some air ducts because they all need to be replaced. We're going to clean this up, get organized, and then we can start cleaning this up and tear it down and get it prepped. So, one step closer.